Hey guys, Tyandaga here, and welcome to the 1000 subscriber question and answer video. Wow, it has been actually one heck of a journey so far, and quite a quick one, mind you. I want to thank you guys all in advance for posting all of these wonderful questions for me to answer for this video. Seriously, there's tons of them, and I mean, it actually takes up 5 Word document pages. And I mean, these are just questions, like, I had to condense them too, like, because some of you guys asked the same questions that other people asked, so I sort of put them all together, and that way I answer them without having to answer the same question twice or 3 times or 4 times. Nonetheless, there is 5 pages worth of questions. That's a lot of questions. Size 10 font too, if you could believe that. But I just want to thank you guys for doing that. Honestly, I didn't think that there were going to be that many questions. I'll be honest. I thought there would be a lot less and that I would be scrounging for questions. But you guys seem to always prove me wrong, so thank you for doing that. It's truly special what we have here, and it's really nice and it's humbling. Seriously, guys, I've never felt more focused in my life. It's inspiring. It truly is. And this is all coming from my heart. This isn't scripted or anything. None of this is scripted. Just thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. It really does mean a lot to me. All of the support and, all of the advice and feedback that you've given me over these short 3 months. It's just been fantastic. So just thank you for that. But anyways, we have a ton of questions for us to answer today. So let's get started. Okay, so the first question, why are you so fabulous / awesome? And oh geez, guys, don't do this to me. I don't like I'll be honest, I don't take compliments well. I do appreciate them nonetheless, but I just don't take compliments really well. Thank you though. You're making me blush, seriously. If you could do anything, what would it be and why? Oh, this is a great question, actually. I think if I could do anything, I would love to fly. But I mean, if you wanted to put it into a bigger grand scale, I would just love to continue what I'm doing now. I'm having a blast so far, and I don't want to stop, really. And why? Because it's a blast. It's fun. It's great. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, next question. How did you make your OC? Oh, this is a good one, I guess. I'm assuming they mean visually when they say this question. So what I did was it didn't start off like what I have now. This is actually like the OC I have now is about maybe like the 7th try that I've attempted drawing this character. And I've added things and I've taken away things over time, trying to make it better and better and better. And I'm sure I'm not done. I'm probably going to do a remake of my OC later on. Probably not now because I'm just lazy. But no, I'll probably do another one nonetheless. It really just takes a lot of time and patience and practice, and you really have to give it the time it needs, I guess. That's the best answer I could give. What is your favorite TV show? Oh, this is actually a really good question. I mean, I'm going to just not include MLP because I actually do enjoy The Simpsons more. And that's not saying that MLP is bad or that, Simpsons is godly amazing. But I just really like the way that The Simpsons, they portray themselves and they really show the modern day family. I think it's really good and it's really relatable. I really love relatable content. So you can really see like bits of your own family in The Simpsons and how they act and stuff. And I just really love that. It's always funny. It's clean comedy too. I think they sometimes step over the line a little bit. For the most part, they stay behind it, and it's always really good. So if anything, my favorite TV show is The Simpsons. Okay, next question. Any advice for someone starting up a new YouTube channel? And actually, this is one that I got a lot, so that's why I put it near the start of the video. That way you guys can hear what I have to say about it. So there are a lot of people that are going to give you different advice. And a lot of the advice you're going to get from people is like, oh, you've got to really love what you're doing, and, you got to really enjoy it and stuff. And while that's true, that's all very true, and trust me, that's like the first rule. You have to enjoy it and you have to love what you're doing. You guys probably want to hear sort of maybe the harder facts and the real facts behind like a good YouTube channel and what makes a good YouTube channel, how to start up a new one. So my best piece of advice would be to look at what the bigger guys are doing, and I mean more so about the channel layout. So like look at their banners, look at their avatar, look at where they place their videos on their channels, how they sort their playlists, titles, tags, descriptions. Those are all important. Make sure to like look at what the big guys are doing, and I'm not saying copy them, please don't copy them, but just look at what they're doing and try to learn from what they're doing. Obviously they're big for a reason, and if you can sort of match that success and match that kind of style, you will have a better chance. I'm not saying you will become big or really successful, but you have a better chance at doing it. People say, oh, don't judge a book by its cover, but guess what? People do judge a book by its cover all the time, and it always helps to have a good cover, I guess. So there you go. There's my advice. Okay, if you were a pretty unicorn, what kind of magic would you use? So actually, I was told I have to say the question exactly like that, just to embarrass me a little bit. Thank you, Sapphire Heart Song on Facebook and also on YouTube as well. But nonetheless, so what magic would I use if I was a unicorn? I I would actually love to use telekinesis. I think that's like really cool because growing up, I had Star Wars and stuff, and Star Wars was awesome. They had the Force, and they could like move objects around and however they're pleased without actually touching them. So that was cool, and I really would like to do that as well. That'd be awesome. Okay, next question. Do you play PC games? I don't actually play too much of a variety of different video games. As far as PC games are concerned, I do play RuneScape, so if you guys actually play RuneScape still, RuneScape 2007 is what I'm actually still playing. If you want to add me, my username is Tyandaga on that as well. So if you want to add me and say hello, I might be on there, and if we can chat, who knows? As far as other PC games, though, I've played a few. I don't really play many others, like, religiously or anything or a lot. Minecraft's always fun. I don't really play too many other video games, really. So yeah. Next question. Do you have an MLP Forums account? I actually, like, you guys have to understand, I am still very much new to this community and this fandom. As far as having an MLP Forums account, I've just heard of MLP Forums, literally, since you posted that question. So no, naturally, I do not. I don't see the reason in me having one just yet. I don't know what I would use it for, but maybe I guess this is a good wake-up call for me to get an account and maybe be active on, forums and such. So who knows? Maybe close in the future, I might just get on the MLP Forums and start chatting with you guys. I don't know. That'll be cool, I think. Can we viewers and lovely Tyandaga come up with a way we can legitimize why the character is always in hyperstellar sugar coffee mode? So I guess that's sort of talking about why I'm always like sort of upbeat and stuff. And I'll be honest, it's really because I'm just excited to make videos, and I love making videos, and I get excited when I do. So that's probably why I speak a lot really quickly and stuff. Like right now, you sort of when you make a video, like at least for me, I sort of get into like this state where everything like time sort of slows a bit. It's weird like that. I don't know, but I just get excited for videos, and that's why I guess turn out hyper in videos. It's just sort of I like to be more upbeat and energetic. I think that's something that maybe not a lot of YouTubers and other YouTubers will do. So I just like to provide my own sort of quirk to that and be a bit more energetic. Okay, here's a really good question, and actually one that I've been getting a lot. So who is your favorite character in the MLP series? And you guys actually might be surprised as to who I pick, and who I pick is Spike, of all characters. And you may be thinking, why the heck would you pick him? And I just love his character. It's the humor and the comedy that comes with him. I know people bash him for being just comic relief and stuff, and I think he gets a bad rap for that, but I also love that at the same time. And like, he seems to be the one who always gets in trouble, and I just love characters like that. They always make me smile, always make me laugh. So that's why he's my favorite character. When it comes to stories, what would you say is your favorite genre? I'm actually not much of a big reader, so I don't really read too many stories. If I had to pick a genre, I guess I would have to say sci-fi, though. Okay, so here's actually a fantastic question. So what's the best thing you've run into with the fandom, and what has been a problem? So let's start with that first part. What is the best thing? I'll be honest, when I first joined this fandom and I first started doing YouTube, I thought things would be a lot more cutthroat, and I thought it'd be more everyone for themselves. And I truly thought that's what it was going to be, and I was ready to sort of go on my own for the longest time and really have my own channel without really doing much with anything else. But I found quickly that is absolutely not the case. Oh my god, like everyone is around and everyone around's there to help you. And everyone's so kind and it shocked me. It actually did shock me. But I guess that's what you get when you have, a fandom based off of a show that really just hammers home friendships. So I guess that's probably part of it. But yeah, I thought so that was a good surprise for me. I thought it was going to be a lot more cutthroat, but really it was a lot more nice. And what has been a problem? Call this a problem, I don't know, it depends how you look at it. But there are so many like fantastic people that I want to record with, I want to make videos with, but there just like isn't enough time in the day, and there isn't enough like time to make videos with everybody, and that's honestly the hardest part. There's just so much talent in the community, but there's just not enough time to really record and make videos with everybody, and that sucks. It really does. I mean, I guess it's a good problem to have if there is a good problem to have. But yeah, that's probably the worst thing that's been. If you ever reach the 3,000 mark, so I'm guessing that's 3,000 subscribers, will you keep their tradition and sing winter wrap up? I will just say it right now, I am not much of a singer. However, I do enjoy rap. I don't really consider rap as singing as much. So if there was a rap song that I could do, perhaps that'd be great. I would actually really love to do that, rather than something like winter wrap up, because I would just botch it. And you guys probably want to keep your eardrums intact. I think that's probably a good thing. So let's keep your eardrums intact. Let's see if we can find a rap song for me to sing or whatever. I don't know how it's called, just a rap. Do you think that one day Dr. Wolf will get mad and start to eat ponies? So this is probably like the most interesting question that I've actually gotten. There are a lot of interesting questions, but this one probably has to take the cake. Food pun not intended. So I don't think Dr. Wolf actually has the capability of getting too mad. I have actually had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Wolf. And he's just someone who I have come across as very professional, and he seems to just yeah. I mean, I think professional is probably the best word I could use to describe him. He seems very calm all the time, and that's really what I found him to be. So will he ever get mad? I can't see it. Who is your favorite Brony analysis person, pony, thing? It was that like thing is it okay, look, I'm gonna answer the question. So favorite Brony analysis or analyst rather. This is gonna hurt for me because there are so many like amazing people in this community that I love to watch their videos and stuff. But if I had to pick one above all of the rest, and I mean for anyone else who's watching, please don't take this as an insult or anything. But I do probably enjoy Silverquill's videos more than anything. He really just puts the time in it. It's his comedy as well that I really love. So if I had to pick one person above the rest, it would be Silverquill. However, there are I watch a lot of other really fantastic people in the community as well. But yeah. Will you do analysis on any episodes? And actually, this is a very fantastic question. So obviously, I haven't done any absolute episode reviews yet, and the reason for that is just because I didn't really want to do reviews on stuff that people have already over-reviewed. And don't get me wrong, it's not like the reviews that are still out there on YouTube are bad or anything. It's just that they're really good, and I'm not going to be adding much more to the mix. So I decided, you know what? I'm just going to stay away from doing episode reviews until Season 5, in which case I will be doing reviews. I don't know how often I will be doing them, however, because I've got a bit of a busy schedule, but I will try my best to do reviews here and there for episodes. So look forward to that as Season 5 rolls in. How old are you? I'm actually 18 years old. I think I mentioned this in one of my videos, but either way, yeah, I'm 18 if you didn't know already. What kind of app or program do you use to animate your OC for your videos? So I actually use Sony Vegas Pro 12. However, as far as animating, I don't actually know how to animate. What I do is I just use different separate images of my OC with different facial expressions. So that's how I get the impression of different emotions going on in movement. So that's how I actually do it. If you couldn't choose a deer or a pegasus, what would you have chosen for your OC? Probably an earth pony then. I just don't really relate with unicorn as much, so yeah, probably earth pony, without a doubt. Why did you start making MLP videos? And actually, this is a very good question. So why did I start? I really just wanted to do something different, something that, I mean, not necessarily hasn't been done before, but I wanted to do something that I've never done before. And I really wanted to challenge and stretch myself as far as video making and editing and whatnot. So I decided that this would be the best way to do it. What is your favorite MLP episode? I actually do like pretty much all of them. I mean, obviously there's a few that I'm not too keen on. However, if I had to pick one, I'd probably do the Daring Do episode. I just like the adventure behind it. It was really fun. It was a good fun watch, and I liked it. Are there any other shows that you enjoy watching? Now, this is the age of the internet, I will remind you. So, as such, I don't actually watch very much television. However, I do watch television from time to time. If I ever had to pick my favorite shows, I would probably have to say things like Fairly Odd Parents or even SpongeBob. Those were all just fantastic shows that I enjoyed watching growing up, and even today, I always enjoy a good episode of those. Okay, next question. Who is your personal favorite pony from the main 6? I guess I can't pick Spike. If I had to pick one, though, I'd have to say Fluttershy. I just love the character. She's a funny character. I just love her character a lot. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much more to it. It's just a personal preference, I guess. What did your first reaction to MLP look like? Oh wow, it was interesting. I think. I bet you could have seen some different emotions on my face. At first, I was kind of skeptical. I won't lie. I thought it was just a children's show, to be honest, and I guess it is, but it isn't at the same time. It's a show that anyone can enjoy, and I quickly found out that was the case. I actually like at first I was kind of, this isn't that great, but then as I kept watching, I realized, wait, hang on, I've already watched, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Oh, I've already seen 2 episodes, 4 episodes, 20 episodes, a season, 2 seasons. Oh boy, where did all that time go? So then I realized, yeah, this is actually really great. What am I thinking? So yeah, that's probably that's what happened. How did you first come across the MLP show and fandom? So actually, this is a fantastic question, and I think I came across it a little differently than most. So the thing that actually drew me in was Fallout Equestria of all things. So at the time, I was actually just playing Fallout 3, like the Xbox game, and I was doing a quest. I forgot what quest it was. Nonetheless, it's not important. What is important though is that I didn't know how to do it, and I decided that I needed to search up on the internet how to solve this quest. So I was typing in Fallout. I type in Fallout, and then one of the suggestions was Equestria. So I'm thinking, oh, this must be one of those Fallout websites, the ones where they give, advice and tips and stuff. Almost every game has it. So, okay, so I go to this website, and then I realize, hang on, this isn't a Fallout website. This is MLP, and I knew what MLP was at the time. And, there was commercials growing up for it as a kid, so I knew what it was. But nonetheless, I was kind of intrigued because here it was, a cover of a book, or rather an online book, showing, MLP and Fallout mixed together. And I thought to myself, well, that's just absurd. That will never work. But anyways, I decided, why not give it a read? This is really interesting me. So I decided to give it a read, and it was like superbly well written. I'd never read anything more well written in my life. So I'm like, oh my goodness. Well, if this is what this like, I want to know what else is here in this fandom. Let's see what's going on here. And so yeah, that's how I sort of got drawn into the fandom. Okay, here's the next question. Do you have a girlfriend or do you have siblings? I have never actually been in like a relationship, a romantic relationship or anything, so no, I do not have a girlfriend. And do I have siblings? Yes, I have 4, so it's a very big family here. Okay, next question. Do you like Disney? And if so, what is your favorite Disney film? As far as Disney films go, or Disney in general, I like Disney. I mean, I don't partake with Disney too often though. But as a kid growing up, yeah, a lot of like Disney films and stuff were awesome. As far as a favorite Disney film though, I'd probably have to say Hercules. That was probably my favorite. I think I watched that as a kid. It's like I don't even know, uncountable amount of times. Seriously, I watched that movie like all the time. It was great. I loved it. So yeah, I'd have to say Hercules as my favorite. Okay, here's a fantastic question. Have you told anybody personal about your YouTube channel? So family, friends, etc. And the answer to that is no. And it's very tough because, I've been getting a lot of success with this channel, and it's hard just keeping that in and keeping that a secret from everyone. I mean, I guess I just don't want people judging me for it. I guess that's a simple answer. I mean, I'm sure there's probably more to it. But nonetheless, yeah, that's pretty much it. And it's really tough, though, keeping it hidden from people. But then again, I've gotten along with that just fine, so I think I'll be okay with it from here on out then. Okay, who is the best princess at MLP? And I'm gonna have to say Luna. That's a pretty easy answer for me. I mean, the others don't really connect with their subjects on a personal level like Luna does, and I just respect that as more, I guess. So yeah, that's my answer. Okay, here's an interesting question. Would you ever do a collab with your subs? So a collaboration with my subscribers. That's actually just like, it depends how. Obviously I can't sort of collaborate with everybody. So I don't know how that would work. How, maybe like a big group project, maybe? I don't know. I'm really not sure how to answer that one, to be honest with you. So yeah, I don't know. Do you know what Five Nights at Freddy's is? And if so, who's your favorite character? Yes, I do know what it is. FNAF, I think that's the acronym for it. So you can see just how much I know. However, I've never actually played it. It doesn't really appeal to me as much. It's sort of one of those like shock horror games. It's not like a really good horror game necessarily. I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's just not something that I would play and I'm particularly interested in. And as far as favorite character, I do know they have animatronics. I'm guessing that's what you mean by favorite character. Do they really have personalities? I don't know. I guess you could base some like favorite character off of what they look like visually, but I wouldn't have an answer for that. I'm sorry. I've just never actually played the game. Okay, here's a fantastic question. So the question is, who inspired you to review? And it says, example, Toon Critic Y2K. And it's funny, actually, that Toon was given as an example because one of the first videos, I think it was actually the first video that really introduced me into this fandom was in fact one of Toons. Now I forget what the video actually was. This was quite a while ago, and well before I even like participated in the fandom. But I remember the top hat, his character with the top hat, and that's what I remember the most. So it's kind of funny now that I get to say like, yeah, he was the one of the first people who inspired me. As far as other people go, I would have to say Silverquill was one of the biggest inspirations, as well as Mad Munchkin actually was a big push and really one of the main pushes for me to start up my own channel. That was so I have to thank her for that. Hopefully she's listening to this. Just thank you for being a good inspiration to me. And yeah, pretty much those are the three that really inspired me to get started and get going with this. What are your thoughts on I can never pronounce this. Ahuizoidal? I can never pronounce it. Why do you guys have to ask these questions where I can't pronounce anything? Ahuizoidal, it makes me hurt, as a villain, and are you okay with him, just gonna say him, and Daring Do being real? As far as him being a villain, I like him as a villain. He's sort of one of those villains that are evil just for the sake of being evil, you know? And I really like that. I like those types of villains. They're just a simple motive behind what they do. And as far as them being real, do I like that? Oh yeah, that's amazing. Are you kidding? Imagine if your favorite storybook characters came to life and were real things and were actually happening. When you like before, all you thought that it was all fake and all made up. So yeah, I love that that's real. Okay, here's actually a really deep question. Do you think people are born good at art, or do you think people who are horrible at it can learn to be good eventually? So actually, I've got a bit of my own personal story with this one. Literally 6 months ago, I just started art. I'm not kidding. I started art about 6 months ago. So as far as, can you get better if you're horrible at it? Yeah, I was horrible before. Now I think I'm at least at a point where I feel confident enough to draw mostly whatever I can. I mean, obviously, I don't think I'm that great or that good at all. But I think I'm decent. I'm certainly a lot better than when I started. So can you get better? Oh, yeah, of course. And as far as people being born good at art, I don't think that's the case. I think some people take to it at a younger age, and then they practice and they train and they get better and better, and that's why it seems, oh, they were just born good at it. It's like, well, no, they practice. They've put the effort in. So yeah, I think you can't be born good at art, but you certainly can get better, and yeah, you just practice. Okay, this next question is actually from Vector Brody. This is my Fallout Equestria Project Horizons person, and oh yeah, it is actually a Project Horizons question, so here we go. So how far are you into reading Project Horizons, and who is your favorite character? So how far have I done reading it? I think I'm getting close to 60 chapters. I think I'm certainly past 50. I haven't really kept track, to be honest. I sort of read it like in bits and pieces, so I don't really keep track of it that much. And as far as my favorite character is concerned, I'd have to probably say Blackjack. I mean, I guess it's a little bit weird of me just to pick the main character as my favorite character. But I just like her personality that, yeah, I wouldn't like the story otherwise, really. So there you go. Okay, here's a great question. Who is your favorite YouTuber? So YouTube provides a lot of fantastic, free entertainment for us all. And there's a lot of fantastic YouTubers out there. If I had to pick a favorite, though, and this is really hard, I would probably have to say JonTron as my favorite YouTuber, just because I just love his videos. All of them are really funny, really well done and put together, and they're just hilarious, So yeah, that'd be my favorite, JonTron, without a doubt. Okay, here's a question that actually came from Facebook, and I actually promised to answer. So here we go. Is it possible to make a black hole? And the answer to that is yes. As far as we're concerned, at least theoretically, we can make black holes. Now, it's certainly not easy. So let's say you took the entire Earth and you crushed it down to the size, I think, of a pea. Just a vegetable pea. That's all. That's small. If you were to crush the Earth down to that size, the pea-sized Earth would be dense enough to create. I think I don't know how it works specifically, but it makes a rip, and basically that's how a black hole is formed. I don't know the specifics, but essentially, if you crush something down small enough into a high enough density, it will create a black hole. Okay, next question. Can I contact you on Skype? The one problem I have with adding a lot of people on Skype is that it gets a little cluttered, and I usually have Skype open like all the time, and I don't want to always be on Do Not Disturb if I have work to do. So I usually just like to be online, that way people can message me, and feel free to message me whenever, but I don't really want to be adding too many people. I think I'm pretty accessible and reachable as far as, YouTube comments, even Facebook, guys. If you haven't followed me on Facebook yet, you can always do that, and you can ask me anything there, and I will probably respond within 24 hours, no doubt. even DeviantArt as well. If you want to follow me on DeviantArt, that works too, and you can message me there as well. So there's a lot of different ways you can message me and talk to me if you want to. And I just don't want to add too many people on Skype, just more for the distraction. That way I can get more videos out for you guys. Okay, next question. So have you or will you ever go to a Brony or Bronycon convention? I would actually really love to go to a convention one day. Honestly, that would be like just really cool. And actually, the second part of this question was, if you do, would you ever be in a panel? And I would love to be in a panel. That would be just like awesome. I don't know how I would be able to describe just the experience. That would be just incredible. I don't think anything else would describe how awesome that would be. So if I did ever go to a convention and I was invited to a panel, honestly, that would just be like a dream come true. So yeah, in the future, I would love to go to Brody convention. Obviously, it does cost a lot of money to get like plane tickets and stuff. But I mean, I think it would be certainly possible in the future for sure. Okay, here's a fantastic question. So, is it hard running a channel? Yes and no. It's a tricky one. So, is it easy to make videos? Yeah, it's kind of easy to make videos. I mean, it just takes a lot of time, and I think that's the big thing that a lot of people and a lot of YouTubers, I think, will agree with me here. Is that I mean, we have the skills to make the videos. It's just that it takes a long time to make them, and sometimes we don't have the time to spend to make videos, and which is why it's always so hard to make them. However, is it hard? I think the hardest part, though, is coming up with new, fresh ideas every week or every 2 weeks. I mean, in my case, it's usually every 2 weeks or so. Coming up with a brand new idea to, one, keep the audience that I have already captivated and interested in coming back for more, and two, bringing in the new audience. And it's really tough keeping consistent like that. It really is. I think that's the hardest part. And I think a lot of you YouTubers who are watching will agree with me. Will agree with me on that as well. That it's just hard staying consistent and keeping up with fresh new ideas all the time. Okay, here's a bit of a funny question. So it's actually about the amulet that my OC wears. So the question asks, why is it green most of the time, but it tends to change color? Or do you have different amulets? So honestly, just here's the skinny of it. I actually made a video on this and I kind of briefly touched on that. But the skinny of it is that it was just for aesthetic purposes. It was just so that the OC didn't look as plain and it gave it a different color. You know, it really was just for aesthetics. However, I did sort of play on the idea that maybe it could be a mood amulet. So you'll oftentimes see in like different thumbnails I make, if my OC is doing like a certain emotion, the amulet will change based on that emotion. And that's what I've been going with so far. I mean, there have been actually a lot of theories from you guys that have really impressed me. But I think the mood amulet seems to be the best one. I think the one that I'm going to go with because it seems to make the most sense for me. So I'll go with that one then. Okay, here's a good question. So what is your favorite ship? So I actually did a video on shipping, and there are a lot of fantastic ships that I actually I found whilst researching for that video. Probably my favorite would have to be Celestia and Discord, though. I think that's just like the funniest one because the two personalities like completely clash. But I think it's kind of funny how it works together as well. So yeah, that'd probably be my favorite ship as far as things go. Okay, so this next question is from Rosie from the Rift Cafe, so thank you for leaving a question. So her question was, what are you looking forward to in MLP Season 5? And actually, this is a question that I've gotten a lot from a lot of you guys, and I don't know. I don't really have much that I really want to look forward to. I'm just looking forward to good episodes and good content. Honestly, that's really what I hope to expect out of it. So we'll see. I mean, I don't really have anything specific that I'm looking forward to, just besides good content and some good fun, really. All right, this next question is actually asked by Toon Critic Y2K, so I really appreciate you doing this, man. Thank you for the question, and it's a great one, too. What motivates you as a reviewer? And that's going to be different from person to person. If you want my honest opinion, I think it's just being a bright spot in people's days, and I mean, that sounds corny and stuff, and yeah, it is. It is pretty corny. But I mean, I just want to be a positive influence, because growing up, I didn't really have much of a positive influence, like, in my life, so I think that, like, I have the opportunity to do that here, especially with YouTube. Like, that's something I didn't have growing up. I didn't have YouTube. It wasn't even exist. It didn't even exist when I was growing up. And even then, I didn't have internet. So, but no, like, I've got an opportunity to do something really special here, and that's what really motivates me as a reviewer, and not just a reviewer, like analyst as well, and just a video maker in general. So, really great question. Thank you for giving that to me, Toon. Okay, here's an interesting question. What is your least favorite episode of MLP? Now, you guys actually might be surprised to hear this from me when I say that the first, and I guess there was 2 episodes at the start, so the season opener, basically, of season 1, the first episode, like, ever, and it's probably the worst, and I'm not saying it's the worst because it's bad. No, no, no. It's just the worst because it got better and better as time went. I think the show got better over time, and obviously the writers, animators, and stuff, they found new ways to do different things, and they got better over time. So my least favorite episode, yeah, it's got to be the season opener. It was all right. I mean, there were problems with it that I have. I won't go into detail here, but I think it got better over time, and I'm not saying that it's bad in the least. All right, so out of all the fan art you have gotten so far, which are your favorite? Now it's kind of like picking a favorite child. You know, I love all the fan art I receive. You guys clearly put like so much time and effort into it, so like having to pick a favorite is really tough. But I mean, you wouldn't be asking this question if you didn't want an answer. So if I had to pick a favorite, God, it's tough. I would probably have to go with the piece done by Lurker Cat on DeviantArt. It's actually the one that I use as a Skype profile picture, as well as it's like the lock. I think it's called lock screen, the lock screen picture on my iPod. So I thought that was probably my favorite, if anything. It's just because I use it the most. So I really have to thank her for that. But honestly, all the fan art I receive, I love, and I go back often and just look at them because it's clear that you guys have spent the time and effort like making them, and I appreciate that. I really do appreciate it a lot. So thank you guys for those who have made fan art. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Okay, so here's a fantastic question. So did you think it'd be a challenge to get your channel up and running? The answer to that is yes. I thought it would be a lot harder for me to get started in this community than I've had. Honestly, I've had just tons of success, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. It's really you guys that helped me with that. So thank you. Literally, thank you. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I mean, I did prepare ahead of time for this channel, so like I made sure I had things like channel art. I made sure I had, you know, a game plan. I had a bit of a game plan going in. I'm not gonna lie. So I guess that's contributed, and that's given me a bit of an edge compared to most people starting out. So I think that's pretty good, and that's probably why I've had more success than others starting out. But for the most part, I did not expect what I have now. So thank you guys for that. I seriously do appreciate that. Okay, so here's a question by Blue Rav 3. God, that's like a tongue twister for me. Why is everything a tongue twister to me? He asks, so are there any kinds of stories that you would like to see happen in MLP one day that have to do with a rather mature topic like morality or war or even growing up, etc.? And now this is one that might sound a bit grim coming from me. Usually I'm pretty optimistic and positive, but I would actually like them to, like the show creators, to take the challenge of trying to explain death. And I mean, yeah, that sounds really grim, doesn't it? But I mean, I'm not saying like I want one of the actual characters to die necessarily, but maybe like one of the pets or something passes away. And I think that would be really neat. And I think that's really tough for them, and I think it'd be a big challenge for them. I think Sesame Street actually tried that, and they tried to go do an episode on death, but I think it never got aired. So I think as far as MLP goes, I would respect them a lot more if they tried it, although I don't expect it, and I don't blame them for not even doing it. It's a tough line to cross, and it's a really tough one to do, and you have to do it really carefully. So I don't blame them if they don't, and I don't disrespect them any more so if they don't do it either. So there we go. Do you have a favorite MLP fan animation? If anything, I'd have to say the Flufflepuff animations. Those are just hilarious. So yeah, I'd have to pick those if anything. Okay, here's sort of a chill question. So, what would be your ideal superpower, and what would be your weakness? And in brackets, it was it can't be OP or things like that. So my ideal superpower, I would actually love to fly. I think flying would be like my ideal superpower. I don't think it's overpowered necessarily. I mean, some could disagree with that. And what would be your weakness? So perhaps if you think it is overpowered, my weakness would be a fear of heights. So maybe I have to wear like a blindfold or something as I'm flying. Then again, that's dangerous. So there we go. I would have to deal with that. What a character that would be. Jeez. Oh, man. Okay, here's a good hardware question, actually. So, what type of microphone do you use, and also software as well? So, and what recording software? So, the microphone I use is actually now I've gotten a new microphone as of late. In fact, I'm using it for this video. So, if there's been any like audio disturbances and maybe it sounds a bit different or weird, that's because I'm just playing with it as I'm recording all of this. Now, the microphone I've been using, and I'll try to put up a picture if I remember to do that. I'll sure you do it in editing. But I've been using this. I think it's $20 or $30 Logitech headset. And I'm not kidding. It's very cheap, but it's been very effective for me over this time. So people will say like, oh, you gotta get like the best and newest microphones, and I say no, you don't. If you want to get a new microphone, what I suggest is go with Logitech. They've, I'm not paid to say this or anything. It's just I've used their products and they seem to work really well. Get a USB connecting microphone or headset. That way, those ones seem to work the best. I've had the sort of the two pronged ones before, and they just don't seem to work as well, and they kind of sound like all crackly and stuff. So get a USB plug-in one. Those seem to work the best. And if you can go for Logitech, but I'm sure you don't have to spend too much to get a decent sounding microphone. And as far as software goes, I use Sony Vegas Pro 12, so I think I mentioned that before. And I also use Audacity to record myself. Okay, so next question. So, what non-pony species do you want to see in Season 5 and beyond? And this is actually a great question. So, obviously, I just can't say deer because that's kind of cheating, right? Like, I mean, I think you guys would expect me to say that. So, instead of saying deer, I'm going to say zebra. I think if they had, like, an episode where they explored, like, the zebra culture and whatnot, that'd be pretty cool. So, yeah, I'd like to see zebras done more so in Season 5. Okay, so here's a fantastic question. So could you give lessons/tips on how you make videos? I can't really say too much because it's not like a trade secret or anything. Trust me, I'd love to give a tutorial or something like that. But I just have my audio for this. So I guess the best bit of advice I can give is, especially when editing, is try to imagine it in your head before you put it into the editing and before you actually try to make it. So let's say you have a scene where you have your character eating an apple pie. Try to imagine that in your head and try to imagine what happens and stuff, and then try to make that happen in editing. And now 9 times out of 10, you won't be able to make that happen. I know that happens for me a lot. So what you do is you try to make it happen as close to that as possible, and try to work with that. Try to go with what your imagination is telling you. That's my best advice to give you. Go with your imagination. Okay, so here's an interesting question. Do you think Spike would be better if he were a pony? I would have to say no. I would have to go with a big fat no. And I think his character works well as a dragon. He doesn't really know too much about himself. I mean, obviously, as the episodes go, he does find out more about his heritage and his culture and whatnot. But I think him being different serves really well for him. Okay, so this next question comes from Countess Mary Rose from the Rift Cafe. So thank you for posing this question. So what fan canon would you want the staff of MLP to make canon the most? So I don't really take part much with canon and whatnot. I really wouldn't know. I'm sorry, because I know you posted this question. I want to answer with a really good answer. But I just don't have a good answer for that. So no, I really don't know. I'm sorry about that. I don't know. I don't follow it too much. All right, next question. So have you ever collaborated with another Canadian MLP YouTuber? Well, as long as the other people that I've collaborated with haven't been lying to me and suddenly they're all Canadian, no, I haven't. I mean, being Canadian isn't exactly special or anything, so I don't really know. I mean, people won't really be openly Canadian, and you can't really tell a Canadian from American usually. So I wouldn't know. However, I haven't even really collaborated with too many people so far, so I'm gonna have to say no with that. Okay, so what in the videos, who are you talking to, and what are you looking at? So in the videos, I try to make it as if I'm talking to you guys who are watching, and yeah, that's pretty much a simple answer, really. I'm talking to you guys. Okay, so here's the next question. So have you ever played Team Fortress 2? And if so, who is your favorite class, or what is your favorite class? I have never actually played Team Fortress 2, and I'm pretty sure it's free as well. So, I mean, I really have no excuse. And this probably is a good reason why I'm not in the TF2 analysis thingy, the projects that are going on, because I've never played it, so I don't know much about it. I do know a bit about it, but I've never actually played it, so I probably wouldn't fit in too well with that. And if so, who's your favorite class? Obviously, I do know a bit about it. I think the spy is kind of funny. I mean, I really don't know, though. All right, here's a fantastic question. So what else are you into besides MLP? I'm actually into a lot of other things, actually. Obviously, I've mentioned before, I'm into things like RuneScape and other video games, too. I really do enjoy basketball, though. If you guys don't know, I do actually play basketball, so that's a big thing for me. I also enjoy a bit of rap, too. Believe that or not. I do rap a little bit. I'm not that great at it, but I can do some freestyles and whatnot here and there, obviously. Not great at it, but either way, whatever. Apart from that, I do just enjoy other sports and video games. Yeah, I mean, it sounds simple enough, but I'm still a student at school, right? So, I mean, you don't have much time in the day to do much else. So, yeah, and also drawing, doing things like art and stuff. So, make sure to follow me on DeviantArt. You can see everything I do, all my art that I do. I always post up there, so you can always see that. Okay, so Anime Wolf Gamer, also from the Rift Cafe, asks, "What gave you the idea of the Reindeer OC?" I mean, I did a video on this actually, but if you just want the skinny of it, I just wanted to do something different and unique because I saw like everyone else in the community had like all these Pony OCs and stuff, and everyone was doing, for the most part, the same thing but with different colors. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna need something that stands out, something that's different. That way, people can recognize me a bit better. So I decided, hey, you know what? Just let's do the Reindeer. Okay, so here's a good question. So, how did you feel about the latest comic arc with the Deers? Now, I'm gonna give you a short answer because I'm actually doing a collaboration with Toon on this one, so I don't want to spoil all of my thoughts and opinions on it. But if you just want a general consensus of what I thought of it, I thought it was really good, and I thought it added a lot of new things. I mean, there were some things that they didn't do well, but I think there's a lot more things that they did do well, and I really enjoyed it. I thought that the environmentalist approach with the deer was a pretty good one. I think that was different, something that we haven't really seen before. So I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so here's a great question. Do you have any more plans for collaborations? Now, here's the thing with like a lot of the collaborations that I'm sort of doing right now, or at least have planned. The thing is that I've got a lot of people that want to do collaboration with me, and I want to do collaborations with them too. But we have very few ideas, very few ideas to talk about, and sort of not much is going on right now. Obviously, I've got a lot of things going on, like for me, so I'm keeping busy, and there's always going to be videos coming out. But as far as like different collaborations, I don't have too many like firm just yet. Obviously, I'll let you guys know on things like Facebook and probably not DeviantArt, but mostly Facebook. If I do sort of get something confirmed, that way you guys can be in the heads up and in the loop. Okay, so here's another comic one. So, do you read the MLP comics? And if you do you like them? Actually, I haven't read very many of them. I've only read the ones that Toon Critics actually sent me. So that's pretty good. But nonetheless, do I like them? Oh yeah, of course, they're awesome. I've never been big on comics, and I guess that's just because I was born too late to. I sort of didn't really. I wasn't in the generation where comics were a hit and were a thing. So I guess that's probably part of it. But I do enjoy comics nonetheless, and these comics are great. They always have good stories, so I enjoy them a lot. All right, so next question. So, do you have any pets? And yes, I do. I have one pet. It is a cat, a black cat named Midnight. And I'll hopefully post, or not post, but rather put up a nice, cute picture of her. Yeah, I have a cat named Midnight. Okay, so here's a bit more of a deep and personal question. So, what are some fears you have? Now, I don't like to think of myself as a fearful person. However, I do have a fear of needles. I'm not gonna lie, I just don't like needles. Hospitals are fine. I just don't like needles. They just put me off, and they put me on edge. And as far as other fears go, I'm not afraid of the dark or anything, but I mean, I guess a big fear of mine is just letting people down and disappointing people. I don't like doing that. I don't like disappointing people, and that is a big fear of mine. I'm gonna say that. I'll admit it. My biggest fear, letting people down. All right, so here's a bit more lighthearted one. Do you say a boot? Now you're probably wondering, why did I just say a boot? At least if you don't know the Canadian stereotype. So one of the big stereotypes with the Canadians is that we do not pronounce the word about as about, but we say it as a boot. Now this is a stereotype, and that is, I will have you know, not very true, at least where I live. So I have never actually met anybody that says about as a boot. However, I'm pretty sure some people, not everyone, but some people in the eastern part of Canada, I mean far east, do pronounce a boot as a boot. So if you want to go to far out east into Canada to find out, let me know if that is the case. However, that's, I think, where you would most likely get that pronunciation. However, you don't get it where I am. All right, so next question. So, what song do you love most in Season 4? Now, this is actually an interesting question, and I think I've got a pretty interesting answer for this as well. I'm not actually a big fan of the music in MLP, and, I mean, that might actually be kind of weird to hear that. I mean, I'm not saying that I hate it, but I like rap and stuff, and I like that kind of music. So, the music in this show, it's not bad, and I do enjoy it from time to time, but it's just not something that I'm big on either. So, I don't really have a favorite, to be honest. All right, funny question. So, do you ever shed your antlers? This is actually a thing that I learned joining the Rift, actually. I forget who mentioned this, but apparently deer shed their antlers. So there you go. I guess I do. I really didn't know until now. Do you drink coffee, and if so, how do you like it? I've actually never tried coffee. Mostly just because I'm not that old or anything, so I don't really drink coffee, and I'm usually pretty energetic as it is anyways. So I think adding coffee to the mixture isn't going to help much. So no, I've never had coffee before. It smells great, but I've just never had it, so I wouldn't know how I like it. Okay, so Geeky Steven, also who I like to call Notorious G, asks, do you have any preferred YouTubers? Like, which ones do you enjoy watching? And he also puts in brackets besides yourself. Now, just going to quickly point out, I don't actually like watching my own videos, surprisingly enough. I see all the flaws and the errors and stuff in what I make, and then it just kind of, I feel bad watching the videos. So once I upload a video, I'll usually just watch it once, just to see what it's like looks like on YouTube, see if there's any like major issues I need to worry about. But after about a week or so, when I've let it settle down, then I don't really watch it because I know there's gonna be so many errors and stuff, and I don't want to see it again because I know it's gonna be so wrong and so bad. But other than that, preferred YouTubers, like ones I watch on a consistent basis. So I actually watch a lot of the Oxcast videos on a consistent basis, at least. Especially Sips. He's been doing a lot of really good stuff recently. He had a bit of a issue with his channel. Like, I mean, I say issue. He just had a lot of like the same stuff being put up, but now he's actually putting out stuff that he enjoys, and I think it's really like rewarding him for that. So thank you, Sips. I don't think you're going to be hearing this, but thank you for putting out some really great content. Skylines included. That's probably my favorite series so far. So yeah, I watch Sips a lot. Stin is also good. A lot of the Youngscast. I really don't watch too much YouTube though. I just don't. I don't really watch many YouTube videos. But yeah, I'd have to go with the Youngscast as our most consistent preferred YouTuber, or YouTubers rather. All right, so here's a good question. Do you collect MLP toys? And the answer to that is no, I just don't. And that's not saying that I don't know. I just don't feel I really want to collect the toys and the merchandise and whatnot. I never have been sort of one for personal possessions, so I just don't really. All right, here's a funny question. So, who is the least favorite pony? I'm gonna have to go with Time and Tiara. She just, oh god, I hate that character. I mean, I like the character being in the show because it adds a differentiation, and like, not everyone's gonna be nice and stuff. But oh god, I just hate that character. Oh man, so yeah, that'd be my least favorite. Okay, and a really good question here. Where did the name Tyandaga come from? So Tyandaga is actually the neighborhood that I grew up in, and they always say, oh, remember the roots, remember where you came from. So I mean, if it's my name, it's gonna be kind of hard to forget. Am I right? What are your goals and ambitions? Wow, this is a great question. I don't have anything specific. I think my biggest goal and my biggest ambition is just to be the best that I could be. And I mean, look at that. That sounds very corny. I'm doing a lot of corny stuff today, but I mean, no, that's what I seriously like think, and that's what I believe. I just want to be the best that I could be, and if I do that, then I can't really disappoint myself. All right, so here's a good one. So, what is your favorite quote? Now, I have a lot of really great quotes, but I think my favorite one is this one by Larry Bird, which is, and I quote, good, better, best, never let it rest until your good is your better and your better is best. So if you have me on Skype, you'll know that that's actually like my little moon message. I change that from time to time, but nonetheless, it is my favorite quote by far. All right, here's a fantastic question, actually, and I really got excited to answer this one. So here it is. How did you gain enough confidence to create a video on YouTube? Now, confidence is actually something that I perhaps wanted to talk about as a video topic later on, and maybe I will, and I think I will eventually down the line. Maybe not like just yet, or maybe not even anytime soon, but nonetheless, how did I gain enough confidence? It's just sort of practice. It comes with practice. I think if you keep practicing and you keep trying and you keep working at it, you're gonna gain confidence. I mean, it's not easy to get, and confidence is something that some people actually like. It seems like they're born with confidence. Yeah, you just gotta keep practicing. I think with practice comes confidence that your ability is ample enough to succeed. So just practice. That's basically the moral of the story there. All right, so here's a good YouTube-specific question. So do YouTubers get a notification every time a comment is posted or a viewer subscribes? Now, this is actually a good question. For me, I don't know if you can change these notifications. I'm pretty sure you can, and I'm sure a lot of really, really large YouTubers will do this. However, what happens is every time someone posts a comment, it makes if you guys you use YouTube at all, I'm sure you are if you're on this website to begin with. But at the top right, you've got the little bell. Whenever someone makes a comment, I see a +1 there. there, or a 1 or something. That way, and it's red, and that way I see, oh, someone left a comment, and then I can see what the comment is. Now, for the most part, you can't really respond to it from there, which kind of stinks. So I have to go into the community tab to respond to people. However, it does let me know that there are comments there. And as far as new subscribers, no, you don't actually get notified that you have a new subscriber unless unless the subscriber allows their subscriptions to be public, and also it only posts the notification on your Gmail. And I think you can unsubscribe for that as well. I think I still have it, but I don't really check Gmail too often, so I don't know how that all works. But you don't really get any notification for new subscribers, but you do for comments. All right, so next question. So how do you get collabs when you're so new and the big guys are so busy? And you're asking me? I mean, I ask. If I think part of it is I ask, but then also I guess the big guys or people that I've collabed with, they seem to like what I do, so which is really like just humbling, honestly, at a down to earth level, it is humbling. So but no, I mean, like, they seem to like what I do, and if they want to collaborate with me, a lot of times, like, they'll come up to me and say, hey, you want to do a video? Or I'll go up to them and say, hey, you want to do a video? And oftentimes, like, that's usually a yes. So yeah, it's just ask. It really is just ask. Okay, and finally, the final last question. So what is that hat that you have on at the end of your videos? And this is a great question, and I didn't expect a lot of people to pick up on this little reference. It's really not much of a reference of anything. It's not too much special. So the hat is just a Toronto Raptors hat, and it's just because I like the Raptors. They're a basketball team in Toronto, so yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not much more to it than that. I just put the hat there for the giggles of it, to be honest. I haven't really done that in some of my videos. I think there's a few that I haven't done that. But I seem to do it every time at the end of the video from now on, and it's something I think I'll continue on as a trend. So there we go. There's the answer for that. Okay, so that seems to be about it for all the questions for this video. Now, I did have to omit some of the questions, one just for, like, the length of the video. This went on for a while, actually, and, I couldn't answer everything. There were a lot of, like, silly questions, and don't get me wrong, I love silly questions, but I wanted to make sure I answered some of the more serious and sort of meaningful questions first, and those took precedence over some of the more silly questions. Also, I didn't answer questions that I just felt uncomfortable with, so, don't feel bad if you didn't hear the question. Trust me, I read them all, and if you guys want to actually learn more, if you want to ask more questions about me, maybe you missed your chance here, then what you can do is you can always leave a comment in the video, in the comment section below, and I'll try to get back to you. I certainly will do my best to try to, like, answer extra questions that you may have. But anyways, guys, this is it, and just once again, thank you so much, just for subscribing, for being there for me, and just supporting me. Honestly, it's truly special, so I have to really thank you for that. But anyways, this has been it, and this is Tyandaga signing out. Thanks for watching, guys.